He gives you the cash, he so does give you the cash. He will get money from his videos, he will do what he can. My name is StarkyBooty32, and in today's video I'm going to reflect back on my childhood about something that I really enjoyed when I was little, because I did make some story time related videos on my channel about some things that occurred in the past, but I would like to get them up and running yet again. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about something which I had a lot of fond memories of when I was 6 to 7 years old, about a particular character from a movie that I enjoyed at the time. So when I was 6 and 7, I really enjoyed this movie at the time called Surf's Up. Surf's Up was one of my favourite childhood movies, and it's a movie about this penguin named Cody who learns how to surf and become one of the best surfers there ever was. It's an older movie that came out a while ago, but it's also a fantastic movie that I enjoyed quite a lot when I was little, although when I watched Surf's Up I didn't really pay attention to any of the main characters in it or the actual story, but rather I paid attention to a particular character in it called Little Surfer. If you don't know who he is, he's this small bird with thin legs, a long beak, and has hairs sticking out of his head. Little Surfer was my favourite character in Surf's Up, and a character that I pretty much idolised and worshipped a lot at the time. I really enjoyed seeing him on screen and all the scenes that he was in, although I did have the Mandela effect when I first saw him and first thought he was white and had a high-pitched voice, but after watching Surf's Up a few more times, I then had no more of the Mandela effect and saw that he was brown and had a man's voice. The scenes I enjoyed most in Surf's Up was when Little Surfer was on screen, but the rest of the scenes in the movie were just meh for me and were nothing but average, and I enjoyed Little Surfer so much that I would always write stories at school about him and would make drawings of him all the time. I would even pretend that he actually lived with me in real life and that I took care of him and handled him wherever I went. I even made a crossover with him and Mario, because at the time I also really loved playing Mario games for fun, and I would just make crossover stories with him and Mario in them. I also pretended while playing Mario games that he was actually in the game and that he was with me when I played through the levels. That's literally how much I loved him, as I would add him to every single aspect of my life and to every single thing I loved. Little Surfer was also literally the only character that I found interesting in Surf's Up, and I would only watch Surf's Up on a daily basis just to see him and none of the other characters, but I still enjoyed the movie regardless and still showed some interest in the main storyline, with Cody trying to be the best surfer, but to a much lesser extent, and thought of most of the story as meh. That's all about how much I really loved Little Surfer, but here are also some facts about him that are located on the Surf's Up wiki that I found years later after loving him. On the Surf's Up wiki, it says that Little Surfer is a shorebird and that he's a talent scout, which makes sense as he was trying to find Cody at the start of the movie. It also says that he's alive, which is also good. He's still alive and going strong, and it also says that he was voiced by Mario Cantone. The only thing that is stated in the trivia section is that he's the character who didn't appear in Surf's Up 2, and most of his wiki page is blank, so very little is known about him, and he wasn't really given a backstory, but I found him an interesting character regardless. He sure was something, and he's a character that really does have a special place in my heart, and a character which I still hold dearly in my soul hold still to this very day. He was practically a god to me and a character that I can look back on any day that I want, and he's a character who I will never forget. If anyone is wondering if I still love Little Surfer to this day, yes I do, but I'm not really that interested in him anymore like I was when I was 6 and 7 years old. I still think about him sometimes and search him up sometimes to look back on him, but I don't look at him or think about him as much as I used to, where I included him in almost every aspect of my life. Maybe he might come out of his dormancy and get me interested in him again, but I will see if that happens or not. Little Surfer forever, Little Surfer for an eternity, Little Surfer for as long as I can remember, and Little Surfer to never leave my heart and soul ever. I hope you enjoyed this video about my look back on Little Surfer. Until next time, my name is StarkyBooty32, and thank you for listening, humanity. My name is StarkyBooty32. I'm one of the best people on YouTube.